And now I have the pleasure to welcome our second speaker, my colleague from Karlsruhe, Joaquín Medina Warmburg. They're professor for architectural and now environmental history, I think is the dedication.
It's just a topic.
Just a topic. And you are now the co-director with Anna Maria Meister, who's of the Archive, Architecture and Civil Engineering. And you just edited a book on Frei Otto, which you can see on the table behind here, with the title Frei Otto mit der Natur, or Building with Nature. And I'm sure you will give us some.
Thank you. Hello? Yeah, it's working. So thank you very much, Christiane Weber, and thank you very much, Monsieur Blandini, for the invitation and the opportunity of talking to you. It's fantastic place. It's quite impressive to see you all here, and some specialists on Frei Otto, so I'm quite nervous about this. So thank you very much. And as you know, a large part of the Frei Otto's estate, Joaquín already showed this, the part of his atelier in Van Bron, the atelier archive from Van Bron, has been housed in at the SAE archive for architecture and civil engineering at the KIT in Karlsruhe since 2010. I had the opportunity some years ago. I was involved very lately in the process of transferring the archive, and I had the great opportunity of visiting not only the atelier but also the house with the family, with Kanzinger. It's nice to meet you again here. So in recent years, the SAE, under the direction of Georg Vrachliotis, has produced exhibitions and publications that have renewed international interest in Otto's work and ideas. When we had the chance to publish the next step, another book on the occasion of Otto's centenary, we began by reviewing which of his projects and ideas had been explored by international scholars at SAE recently. Many focused on the understanding of nature, Otto's understanding of nature, how he saw it, how he represented it, how he worked with nature. These topics reflect our own interest in Karlsruhe, dealing, for example, trying to bridge the gap between environmental history and architectural history. So we dedicated the book that you see here to Otto's vision of building with nature, Bauen with der Natur, as the title reads, including his concept of natural constructions. Otto's idea of natural construction reflects the interplay or the intertwining between nature, technology, and society. These themes form the book's three main chapters, each divided into three subtopics. Every section includes a project analysis and an essay. One example of his own is his own house in Van Bron, which is analyzed in the book by Jos Tomblo. And this is paired with an essay on Otto's climate shales. We wrote it together, a nice process together, climate shales and his vision of an immaterial air architecture. Several colleagues contributed to the books, many of whom are today here. Indeed, for instance, the entire panel is, so we are all contributors to this book. So why focus on the interaction between nature, technology, and society? Because we wanted to understand Otto as a whole, not just as a lightweight construction expert. He wasn't not only a structural designer or a construction consultant. He was a thinker and researcher and inventor who embraced a holistic approach and called it, few years, natural construction, meaning also his own work. He even urged fellow architects to stop building in what he saw as an unnatural way. As an architectural historian, I find this holistic approach, the transformation of architecture in time, as part of a natural history, as you can see here on this image on the left. Not just as a cultural, technological, or social history, but also as part of a broader natural history, is, in my opinion, especially relevant today. In Karlsruhe, we also try to connect environmental and architectural history in our work. Therefore, the book's introduction begins with the term green modernism, which Otto often used in his writings, lectures, and interviews. He adopted this concept early in his career, around 1950, so as a student already, after meeting figures from the 1920s German avant-garde, including Walter Gropius, Martin Wagner, and Mies van der Rohe during his student trip to the USA. These prominent architects had been interested in merging technology, nature, and culture through biotechnological approaches. We see this idea clearly, the Weissenhof estate in Stuttgart, which Otto later fought to preserve. And I like to think also of this tradition of green modernism, so-called green modernism, in which Frei Otto was deeply rooted, also as a kind of Stuttgart tradition, evolving decades and through generations up to our days, maybe. Publications from around 1927, so the year of the Stuttgart Weissenhof-Siedlung, often highlighted visual analogies between mechanical and organic forms. Eventually, technology was presented and represented as part of natural history. This vision, architecture became a bridge between nature and technology, a reconciling element. The focus shifted to the physics of biology, structures of both plants and animals. Designers looked to beetles and spiders as models for hanging constructions or flying artifacts. The goal wasn't just to mimic nature's appearance, but to understand and apply its main principles and general natural laws. The aesthetic approach, for example, of Ernst Haeckel in his art forms in nature was mostly rejected. At the time, Raoul France's approach to biotechnology, which was presented as the technology of the organic, made a big impact. This biotechnical concept even suggested that plants acted like natural engineers. Structural inventions followed the same natural laws that could guide human technology. At the same time, biologist Jacob von Uexküll also influenced modernist thinking in the field of architecture. He introduced the idea that different organisms perceive different environments. Tools and perception instruments, Werkzeuge and Merkzeuge in German, form what he called a Funktionskreis, a cycle of interaction. Circular causality would later inspire Norbert Wiener's cybernetics. Specific feature of the human environment was its urge to expand by technological means or devices, which enable them, us, to extend their or our environment, for example, to penetrate microscopic worlds beyond our natural senses. One of the key natural principles that inspired so-called green modernism, and Otto himself, was the productivity of nature. Erich Migge, for example, believed that urban settlements should grow like biological systems following natural laws of circularity, including extensive kitchen gardens. And Martin Wagner, has been already mentioned by Georg Pachliotis, also explored this idea, his growing houses, some of which were to be built partly by the residents themselves. Otto often cited Wagner explicitly as a major reference of his own projects and ideas. In the late 1950s, for example, Otto published a booklet on adaptable building, see it here again, through his early Institute for Lightweight Construction Development in Berlin. He revived the ideas of the 1920s and 30s, applied them to post-war construction in Germany. His proposals combined horizontal and vertical garden cities, aiming to bring nature back into urban life, something that felt possible after the destruction of the war. Think, for example, also of Hans Scharoun in Berlin or Rudolf Schwarz in Cologne. Otto continued to promote adaptable building through conferences and publications as well here at the EL in this space. This recurring idea again highlights the link between nature, technology, and society. In EL issue number 14, see on the right, topics range from expandable homes and bioclimatic architectural design, such as his own home in Warmburg, to completely artificial, immaterial, airstream-formed roofs and walls. It's again the Berlin eco-houses analyzed in the book by Georg Pachliotis, and today again, show a similar complexity. These buildings feature flexible uses and structures, open design, and form finding, maybe also a kind of a social form finding, participatory self-building, and a general bioclimatic approach to building. They have become today icons of ecological architecture. So, summing up this brief statement, what Frei Otto once described a lecture at the legendary HFG in Ulm as a cultural task of lightweight construction reflects a much broader vision. This idea or an ideal of a natural construction was part of a holistic philosophy. It's no surprise that Felix Candela, who Otto considered to be a thinker, a philosopher, also moved from lightweight structures to ecology. Neither of them saw himself just as a technical expert in the resource-saving constructive subfield of lightweight structures. Both tried to go beyond this in order to address the embedding of construction in the whole, which for Otto was an embedding in nature. Maybe this is the expanding spirit of lightweight structure, so to say, lightweight construction beyond lightweight structures. Thank you.